Okay, so hey, look, thank you everyone for coming today for another Team Parker update. I've got quite a bit of serious content to rattle through, and after that we can take, Joe and Keith take some questions and then get some photos. So a quick update from Team Parker. We're entering into a conditional contract with Lemieux Brown that's going through as we speak in final stage negotiation. But one of the conditions is that if we can make a lucrative sort of unification bout, we can then exit the Brown contract, provided we do look after Lemieux Brown in some way. We also still have lucrative offers from Russia and China that are in the works. Team Parker has met to discuss a possible unification bout with Anthony Joshua and where that's at. Behind the scenes, negotiations are ongoing with Eddie Hearn, so Hearn and I have been exchanging emails on what a deal might look like. But the Parker team are now at a stage where they're willing to make public their final bottom line position, which is utterly non-negotiable. And so first of all, the deal would have to be an open book revenue share. Why? Because there's a whole lot of revenue streams that are potentially invisible, like host city investment, pub and club, pay-per-view, etc., etc. So a fixed fee doesn't really do it justice. We want all the revenue costs in the pot to see what it is. So all that's to be agreed is what is a fair, respectable ratio for each boxer, for Joshua and Parker. And our team have decided our bottom line minimum we'll drop it a little as a sign of good faith and proof that we're not going to talk and we do want to unify. We started around 50 or 40%, and we're going to drop down to 35% of net profit to unify, and we'll take the fight next if Joshua will agree. I'll explain why we feel that anything less than 35% is not only disrespectful to Joseph Parker, but a disgrace. Well, first of all, Joshua has two of the major credible heavyweight belts, and Parker has one of them. So it's sort of around the 2/3, 1/3. There seems a natural justice to that. Kids around the world dream of becoming heavyweight world champion, so they can set up their family for life. And you know, Joseph started at age 3 or 4 with his dad and done the hard yards for 20-something years, and the team around him. And that's got to count for something. A mandatory bout pays 30%, voluntary usually less. So if a mandatory 30, what's a global unification worth? It's got to be worth 35% for us, because it's an intercontinental event that would only happen once every 10 years. I think the last one was Klitschko 7-8 years ago, and the last undisputed champion was Lennox Lewis. We want to make that happen. We're not all talk. So the onus is now on Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to back up their words. So to prove they're sincere, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua have to put together a fight with either Joseph Parker or Deontay Wilder. But if they don't, if they instead take a hand-picked voluntary like Alexander Ustinov, that will be very embarrassing for them, and it would show that they're probably prioritising money over unifying the division. A unification bout is triple the size, maybe quadruple the size of a voluntary. And why is that? Perceived competition. You've got two unbeaten champions. Either man could win. You could say it's a 50-50 fight. Parochialism. You've got England versus New Zealand. You've got a perceived underdog versus a perceived, bigger champion or whatever. That's not how we see it, but it has that ingredient. And the third important ingredient, it's got 2 stars. Our job is to build Joseph Parker's profile in the UK, and part of what we're going to do today is going to really put Joseph on the map in the UK, and it's going to create a lot of discussion among Joshua fans. We're probably going to cop some hate, as we often do. So even if Hearn and Joshua only care about the money, they should still unify. Why? Because it's triple the size, a true global event, the pie is much bigger. And so we're offering Hearn and Joshua 65% of a very, very big pie. So it will look a little weak if they instead went for voluntary and tried to grab 80 or 90% of a very small pie, and the public, the fans, they'll lose a bit of respect. So even at 55%, they're going to make more money unifying. So there are no excuses. Why does Joseph Parker beat Anthony Joshua? Simple. Parker has a granite chin, whereas Joshua may possibly have a glass jaw. Joshua's been dropped numerous times. Dropped at an amateur, dropped in sparring, dropped in the ring. It's the worst kept secret in British boxing. No one really talks about it much. It's like the story of the Emperor's new clothes. And we wonder whether that's because Sky Sports UK, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are powerful and maybe the media are scared to talk about it. But, you know, why not discuss it? It's a genuine weakness and it's backed by facts. So our job as a promoter, raising Joseph's profile in the UK, proving to fans it's actually a 50-50 fight and explaining why. Creating discussion, discord, rivalry, and we're going to do that using evidence and facts. We're going to name some of the many people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. And there's no disrespect here. Some Joshua fans are already in social media saying we're disrespectful. Well, first of all this footage is in the public domain if you Google it. We're not revealing anything that's not available to any person that's worked. And it's all factual. So the only thing disrespectful is Hearn and Joshua's lowball offer to Joseph Parker. So we're highlighting one of Joshua's weaknesses, his chin. Names of people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. We've got Lawrence Okoli, Maihi Nistor, Daniel Dubois, Vladimir Klitschko, David Price and Dillian White in the amateurs. And we're convinced there'll be many more who've dropped Joshua. So our first offer to anyone in the United Kingdom, send us proof that you have also dropped Anthony Joshua and be the first to do so, and we'll send you a special gift in the mail. I think we've got some footage now. We'll break for a bit and look at some footage of Joshua being dropped. There's heaps more. This is just a snippet. Just move that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause it right there and show you the video that they're actually talking about. And by the way, this little press conference, it is actually from their website, like their official shit. Like, I mean, their Facebook page. So somebody was recording with a potato, you know. But hold on, I'm going to actually pull up, hold on, what they were about the show. And then we're going to watch a little bit more of this, and we're going to start in about 3 minutes or so, maybe 4. I don't know. I don't remember. Hold on. I'm going to find it. So this is a press conference that Joseph Parker, WBO heavyweight champion, held. Hold on. Here it is right here. So this is what they were going to show at the press conference that we were just watching. Damn, let me move this over here. I don't like this new program I'm using too much. Everything has to be like, it's supposed to be better, but they make you put like fucking codes in and shit for everything.
Anthony Joshua was dropped in sparring and your name was mentioned. Any comments you can make about that?
Yeah, I smashed him up. He knows the truth. I know the truth.
You sparred Anthony Joshua and they said, quote, you dropped him. What happened in that sparring?
Yeah, that happened.
You mentioned David Price. He's talked about that sparring story fight.
Yeah.
What is the truth about that?
Yeah, he dropped me in sparring.
He shook Joshua. Guys was hurt. Joshua's in big trouble. Massive turnaround here. White going for it. From Vladimir Klitschko, and Joshua is done.
That shit's loud as shit. Why ain't nobody tell me? So basically what they've been doing is they've been talking all this shit and holding these random press conferences. Okay, well, we're going to start. So we're going to play a little bit more of this. This is the Duco Events, the promoter of Joseph Parker. This is their press conference. This is their cameraman, right? Recording this shit. It was bizarre. And it was like fucking like Eastern Standard Time, like where I am on the outside of Philly. It was like fucking 6:30 in like the evening, and I'm looking like they having a press conference. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So hold on, listen to the rest of this. It's not even that long, and then we're gonna start. Let me fast forward a little bit. This is when they were trying to show that bullshit video I just showed y'all. Yo, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Hold on, let me fix this shit. But this is their camera. Like holding the phone and like this should be like fucking banned.
And they said, quote, you dropped them. What happened?
Okay, so there we demonstrated the main chink in Joshua's armour with factual evidence. And why shouldn't people talk about it? Because it's a fact. So in contrast, Joseph Parker has a granite chin. He's never been dropped. Joseph Parker's never been dropped as an amateur, never been dropped in sparring, and never been dropped as a professional. He's beaten very hard men like Carlos Takam and Andy Ruiz, and even they never dropped him. So our second offer of today is to all Anthony Joshua fans anywhere in the world. If you can send us...
He talking to y'all, Anthony Joshua fans. He got a gift for y'all. So this is Joseph Parker's promoter. Now he's co-promoted. He's promoted by Bob Arum in Top Rank if he fights over here in the States. And over there where he's from, it's Duco. Duco like runs New Zealand, or that oceanic area is what they call it, New Zealand and Australian boxing. They also promote Jeff Horn. You know, so listen to this. This was a very bizarre, important press conference. This was like 3 days ago.
Send us proof that Joseph Parker has ever been dropped and be the first to do so. We'll send you a cheque for 10,000 British pounds.
I'll match that. I'll match that. Put up 10,000 British pounds myself.
So there's 20,000 British pounds for any Joshua fan who can show that Parker's been dropped.
So he said he'll give any of you lads, any of you mates over in the UK, $10,000. That was 20,000. The promoter's gonna put in 10,000, and JP gonna put in another 10,000 pounds if y'all can prove that he's ever been dropped. Now we know for sure that Anthony Joshua's been dropped multiple times, but whatever. Let's listen to a little bit more of this than we started.
He hasn't. In closing, our message to Anthony Joshua, and it's a serious message, is we want the opportunity to test your chin so much that we'll let you keep 65% of the profit, even though it's intercontinental unification. You have no excuses. Show Parker some respect.
Okay, so 35% is fair, in my opinion. They're saying that, listen, you can keep 65, give us 35, and, you know, you're fighting for another title. Like, you know, that's more than fair. I think that's fair.
Respect, let's make the fight. Question?
How am I full of shit?
Say, for instance,
hey, somebody get that guy.
Joshua fight, what would the split mean then? Was it 50-50?
Look, I actually don't know, but I suspect it would have been a lot more respectful than what they're offering us.
Do you need them more than they need you, or vice versa?
They've said loudly they want to unify. They can't unify without us, so they need us unless they're going to break their word.
Great champions, league great champions. Do you feel like you need Anthony Joshua, Joseph?
I feel like we both want to unify the belts. So, you know, he's saying that he wants to unify. I've said I want to unify, and as you can see, we're the only ones pushing for the fight. Things have gone pretty quiet. But if they really want to unify, then they should make the fight happen.
Are you happy with those terms on the contract? It says if maybe you're going to line up a fight with Lucas Brown, and if something does happen, you'll always choose Anthony Joshua over that if you can.
Yeah, I'm happy with my team's taking care of that. I think my focus is to keep in shape and prepare if the fight does happen, so I can go there and knock them out.
David, when did you sort out the
I'm vaping. Give me a couple minutes.
No, it's been under negotiation for a while, and they've sent the contract back to us overnight with some feedback, and so that deals the broader important terms that were already agreed, and so that sort of gives us a good massive Australasian event, and then the onus is really on Herm and Joshua to back up their words and unify, and also pay a respectful sum to Joseph Parker.
Lucas Brown posted on social media last night he didn't really know what was going on at Parker fight.
Yeah, well, his promoters are in the UK, his manager's somewhere else, and he's sitting tight waiting for news, so that it's possible he's not fully up to date.
That would be.
You want to watch the rest of this? It's like 10 minutes long. I mean, I can just talk about what the fuck going on. I got some Kovalev highlights. Yeah, let's start with the Kovalev highlights first.
In March?
Yeah, probably into March.
Hold on, 1 minute.
When was your last conversation with you?
You know, fuck, stop this shit.
I emailed.
Highlight reel. Right hand in the first round. Down goes Shabranskyy. Second right hand in the first round. Down goes Shabranskyy. And by the way, a right and a left to follow up. And then in round number 2,
run it back.
the third knockdown.
We're running back.
And now you seem to have
we gotta watch this.
Opponents out there who would be.
Want him to go. He kept that attack up.
We gotta watch
He
that.
didn't forget the left hook this time.
What the fuck am I doing? Oh, I'm tripping. My bad, y'all. My bad. Yeah, we gotta watch that post-fight interview for those who ain't see it.
And this was a good stoppage by Harvey Dock. There was no reason to go 5 more seconds in that fight.
Not at all.
What a great performance by Sergey Kovalev. Here's Michael Buffer with the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, referee Harvey Dock calls a halt to this contest. The official time, 2 minutes, 36 seconds, round number 2. The winner by TKO victory. And he is now once again a world champion, the light heavyweight fighting pride of all Russia, Sergey Crusher Kovalev.
Final CompuBox numbers on the great performance by Sergey Kovalev, landing 50 shots out of 113 punches thrown, against 16 out of 71 for Vyacheslav Shabranskyy. Power, 36 out of 58. Look at that connect percentage, 62%. It was only 2 rounds, less than 2 rounds, but still, those are awesome numbers. And 14 out of 55 jabs, that may be the most positive thing he did. Landing his jab to the body and the head to set up the power shots. And now Max Kellerman stands by with the crusher.
Cody Charlie Brown.
Congratulations, Sergey. That could hardly have gone better. First, how do you feel about that performance?
Thank you very much, first of all, for your support. I did it, and my work very hard to champion status. But I did it, you know, like I reloaded my brain, my mentally, my conditioning, you know, my body, and I'm back.
You bring your mentality up. When a devastating knockout artist like you, a feared fighter, is stopped, is coming back from a loss, the fans wonder, the media wonders, will he be the same guy? Did you wonder? Did you get answers tonight?
You know, it's my goal to be best in this division. But I don't think that last fight I was stopped, you know, like it was an illegal decision by referee, you know. And I still to fighting and ready to fight for all titles, you know, unified titles. Like, just I'm here because I'm an athlete. I'm not businessman, you know, like here boxing, and I love boxing, and I'm here to make great fights.
In a strange way, you're in a better position now than you were before the Ward fights. Andre retired, and a division that you dominated that didn't seem to have any interesting challenges for you. Suddenly, Bivol looks very good. Beterbiev is come on, and there are these challenges out there. How do you feel about your rivals in the light heavyweight division?
You know, I'm happy that
I'll be right back.
belts right now has different owners. You know, like, and this makes boxing very much interesting. You know, like, because we can make good fights for boxing fans, and also like just for the boxing history. Because like, I want to find out like in the future, like, we're right now just a belt holder. We should find out who is the best in light heavyweight division in the future.
And now you seem to have some opponents out there who would be willing to make that fight with you instead of Adonis Stevenson, who for years it seemed didn't want to fight you.
Yes, and then Adonis Chickenson too, you know, like on my list, but I'm ready for any champion, for Dmitry Bivol, for Beterbiev, Artur, you know, like, because this is very good for boxing, and just let's do it, like, you know, like, I'm ready.
Sergey, congratulations. Hope to see you soon. Jim?
All right, Max. Highlight reel. Right hand in the first round. Down goes Shabranskyy. Second right hand in the first round. Down goes Shabranskyy. And by the way, a right and a left to follow up. And then in round number 2, the third knockdown. Right hand again, pivotal in that sequence. And then he gets Shabranskyy in trouble again, and referee Harvey Dock, looking at the wobbly Shabranskyy, steps in and rescues him from more punishment at the hands of the Crusher. And Roy Jones, momentarily, in that action, it looks almost as though the Ward fights never happened.
Well, it looks as though it never happened. Hopefully he learned a lot.
I wish I had like this technology for the Ward fight, because then we'd be able to talk about it, you know, go back and watch that shit in slow motion. You know, I watched it several times, and you know, I do feel the shot. It's hard to say that shit with a straight face, man. He punched his balls though. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've watched it, and for those who were here the night that I had the, I can just show it right now, truth be told. You know, at least the highlights of the fight. You know, but it looked like the trunks were high to me. but also, he did look like his balls was punched. You know? But some people say Kovalev or Russian balls, when they drink a lot of vodka, they Russian balls rise all the way up to above their navel. You know what I'm saying? But in the build-up toward the fight, both of the fights, you know, and I'm still sick of you scumbag son of a bitches who call yourself boxing fans that didn't buy the fight. You know, because the fight did a horrible, like, it did worse than the first fight. And the press conferences, every single press conference was good because they were all tension-filled. You know, you had Andre Ward talking that gangster shit. You had Sergey Kovalev on some killer shit like, yo, I'm in your motherfucking career, motherfucker. And yeah, I'm going to go drink some fucking vodka and smoke some cigarettes. And I don't even fuck with my trainer, but I'm going to beat the shit out you. That's not exactly what he said. But he was on something, you know, they was talking some shit. And I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy. Then you had Virgil Hunter, the trainer of Andre Ward, going at Kathy Dover, and you know he be great damn near cry when he be giving his speeches. He be like, well, you know, see, they got this overseas Eastern European fighter going again. You know, and it's like, and how is my fighter, you know, Dre, making so much more than the champion with 3 belts? Like, he was talking some real shit. So the build-up for these fights, for boxing fans and for somebody like me, who my job is to talk about the storylines behind the fights and shit like that. You know, like tell you, you know, like, listen, even if it's going to be a nasty, ugly, boring fight, not this fight, but certain fights in general, sometimes the storylines behind fights mean so much more. You see what I'm saying? But in this case, you know, this was some real shit. You know, them press conferences, and it was 3 of them. I was at the one in New York, you know, when the shit popped off. Then they went to Oakland. Then they went to L.A., right? The last one was in L.A., you know, and I'm thinking, and Kovalev, him and his team, they would talk shit, right? And then just get up and bounce. They'd be like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? What was it? What was it, November the 16th or some shit? No, the one that happened this year. There's like, you know what? We're going to beat you the fuck up. And they just drop the mic. Kovalev, John David Jackson, Egan's claim as the manager. They be like, we out. And they just leave the whole press conference. So then Andre Ward get up there and talk his shit. And then he got to do a face-off, you know, like alone. You know, taking pictures and shit. That shit was crazy. And then they leave Kathy Duva up there one time. We should watch it. That shit was some classic-ass shit. So they leave Kathy Duva, the promoter, up there. Then everybody from Ward team get on the mic and just start slicing her. You know? Like, it was crazy. But anyway, what were we talking about? Anyway, this shit was crazy, though, man. This shit was crazy. So I was real upset that people didn't buy the fight. You know, that was whack. I was hurt. I don't even know why I was personally hurt, but I was real hurt. I was like, man, 130,000 pay-per-view buys, man. Y'all some clowns, man. You know? I was telling people, I was like, listen, don't buy no sneaks this month. You know what I'm saying? You know how you got your motherfuckers out there, you got to buy a new pair of kicks every week. All you got to do is not get a pair of kicks one week and you can buy, man. You know? You could see his belly button. His trunks are way too high. Everyone forgets. Yeah. His trunks were high. His trunks were high. Put it this way. In the first fight with Ward, you know, I had Ward winning, right? And in the second fight, I had Ward with the legal shots. And then I ain't been called so many niggers in my life. I've been called, and I'm thinking like, I'm just calling that shit like it is. You know, I really feel Ward, and usually I get like so much heat because motherfuckers be like, you a coon, you don't go with the black fighters because they black. But in this case, you know, I was like the Black Power brother man. You know what I'm saying? I was part of the Black Panther Party. You know? I'm not saying I was that intentional. That's the way people were perceiving me, like I was picking Ward because he was black. Nah, listen, Kovalev was drinking too much vodka. You know what I'm saying? Dude wasn't even training. So the scary part is, like, come on, keep it 100. The scary part is, if he wasn't training and drinking and all that shit in camp and he don't even fuck with his coach like that, you know, like, imagine if he was 100%. And you got to give him credit. That first fight with Andre Ward, you know, he was really outboxing Andre Ward. You got to give him credit. You know, you can't take that away from him. You know, dude was putting that work. Oh, let's go check and see if it's the post-fight press conference. That shit is probably over by now, right? We could have watched the post-fight press conference. Hold up. Let me see if it's let me see if they streaming it or something. Let me see. I've been on this weird-ass sleeping schedule, man. It's fucking me up. Like, normally, I'm in, like, I'm in bed, like, by this time on a regular weekday, like, Monday through Friday. If I'm not out nowhere, I be asleep by, like, fucking 7 p.m., 6 p.m. sometimes. So staying up a night like this has got me fucked up. I'm tired of shit. Nope. They didn't stream the post-fight press conference. I'll find it. We could probably watch it later on in the video. You can't trade with someone you don't get along with. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then John David Jackson just started spilling the beans. And come on, you know John David Jackson tried to go over to Team Ward. He tried to go over there and spill those espionage secrets. You know? And then gonna get on the mic talking about, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you know, our team is strong together. Yeah, I do love me some Kathy Duva, man. I don't care what none of y'all say. I don't care what none of you say, man. That's a glorious. She's so seductive. She's a seductress. That's what she is. I remember the first time I interviewed her, I had to walk away, man. I'm thinking like, damn, man, it's fine as a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? But enough about that. What up, DJ? What up, Chill Zoe? Lia Ashford. Yeah, what time is it over the UK? I'm going to the UK in February. Motherfuckers didn't believe I couldn't get to Vegas, and I went out there and fucked that trip all up. No, it was a good experience, though. Especially, there was one day when I fell off the grid I told y'all about. Like, where I stayed off social media, you know, and all that shit. You know, went around, went to a couple shows with my pop. Yeah, I smashed Kathy Duver. I wasn't drunk. I'm sober, and I'm saying that shit right now. Shit, got me twisted. Say that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Kathy Duver got me on command. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, enough about that, man. Why y'all trying to get me? We got to talk about boxing. So what was on the agenda? We already talked. Well, we didn't talk. We at the beginning of the stream, we watched the Joseph Parker WBO. The Joseph Parker WBO champion press conference, weird ass press conference, you know, where they cameraman, it was weird. So I guess they probably had a meeting, you know. Hold on, wait, let me see if I can put on my my New Zealand accent. Wait a minute, hold up. Okay, Stu, can you bring your iPhone 2 4G camera? No, that shit was like 3G, right? And tomorrow, we're going to have a press conference down at Mitsubishi and talk some shit about Joseph. Damn it, I fucked it up. Anthony Joshua. I fucked it up. I thought about it too much. But yeah, okay. So long story short, they held this press conference, right, where, okay, Joseph Parker has the WBO title. Joseph Parker has options. Joseph Parker can fight Bryant Jennings here on ESPN in the States. And ESPN, you know, Top Rank Fight's been doing really, really good. They can fight Lucas Brown from Australia in a big Australian-New Zealand fight. You see what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua's options are fight the winner of Alexander who won the Alexander Ustinov fight. We got a new WBA world champion at heavyweight. That belt has been cursed. Who won? Did he win? He lost. Manuel Char is the WBA mandatory for for Anthony Joshua. So Joseph Parker's team is saying, listen, you can go fight, you know, Manuel Char and keep a large percentage of the pie, you know, and go the easy route, or you can fight us for this WBO title, you know, and then you can be in a unification and be one belt away from being undisputed, you know, and we'll take 35% and be comfortable with it. You know, and now when you look at what options does, you know, Anthony Joshua have, now that if you look at like the position that Joseph Parker's team has put them in. So if you think about the press conference that they did, and it was a weird ass one. In fact, let's go back and watch it one more time. It's not the whole thing, but one part. It was a weird ass press conference too. No, seriously, it was weird as shit. But it was effective. It was good. It worked.
I emailed him last night, and then when I woke up this morning, there was a reply from him saying,
hold on.
Fair, respectable ratio for each boxer for Joshua and Parker. And our team have decided our bottom line minimum will drop it a little as a sign of good faith and proof that we're not going to talk and we do want to unify. We started around 50 or 40%, and we're going to drop down to 35% of net profit to you.
So listen, this is the promoter. This is Joseph Parker saying that they're going to drop down to 35% to fight Anthony Joshua.
Unify, and we'll take the fight next if Joshua will agree. I'll explain why we feel that anything less than 35% is not only disrespectful to Joseph Parker, but a disgrace. Well, first of all, Joshua has 2 of the major credible heavyweight belts, and Parker has 1 of them. So it's sort of around the 2/3, 1/3. There seems a natural justice to that. Kids around the world dream of becoming heavyweight world champion so they can set up their family for life. And you know, Joseph started at age 3 or 4 with his dad. And
I'm hoping y'all listening, because this is the next big super heavyweight fight. And this is Joseph Parker and his team talking about the shit. So I hate when I do these videos and then people try to come in with me with information I already know. It's like, yo, motherfucker, I know. No, the fight is not on. But now Joseph Parker's team has put Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua in the situation where how can they turn this down? You see what I'm saying? And they're exposing him saying like, yo, we know you don't got no chin. You're being knocked down by Lawrence O'Colly in sparring. I've heard about that 2 years ago. You know, and word is Eddie Hearn and his team went to O'Colly and said, yo, can you really not talk about that shit if you can try not to? You know, then we saw, you know, he got tagged up a little bit by Dylan White. Then we saw that Klitschko let him off the hook. And there's plenty of other stories of how, you know, that his chin can be touched. So Joseph Parker, what they're doing during this press conference, even though it was weird and it was random, it's effective because now they got people looking at Anthony Joshua, people who's been following the stories like, oh, shit, bro, you looking like a clown. Joseph Parker over there, you know, talking all this shit. But anyway, let's listen to a little bit more.
Done the hard yards for 20-something years and the team around him, and that's got to count for something. A mandatory bout pays 30%, voluntary usually less. So if a mandatory 30, what's a global unification worth? It's got to be worth 35% for us because it's an intercontinental event that would only happen once every 10 years. I think the last one was Klitschko 7-8 years ago, and the last undisputed champion was Lennox Lewis. We want to make that happen. We're not all talk. So the onus is now on Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to back up their words. So to prove they're sincere, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua have to put together a fight with either Joseph Parker or Deontay Wilder. But if they don't, if they instead take a hand-picked voluntary like Alexander Ustinov, that would be very embarrassing for them, and it would show that they're proper.
Also, this was 2 days before. No, was this? I think this was on Thanksgiving Eve. I forgot. But today, the guy that just talked about, Alexander Ustinov, he lost to Manuel Char. So if Joshua were to take that voluntary challenge, it would be against Manuel Char, the new WBA World Heavyweight Champion. For those who don't know, the WBA be on some bullshit, even though they're the oldest belt out there. You had the WBA in 1963, the WBC 1965. I forgot when the WBO first was started. I think it was 1983 or some shit. Or 89? I don't remember. No, it couldn't have been 89 because that's when, whatever the case may be, they have two belts. It's a WBA World and it's a WBA Super World. It's a weird-ass situation that's hard to explain, and it's going to take way too long to talk about how Shannon Briggs failed the drug test. It was supposed to be Frezzo Quindo. You know, Lucas Brown originally won the belt from Ruslan Chagiev, but then Lucas Brown failed the drug test. So then the WBA went to Ruslan Chagiev after he had lost to Lucas Brown, and Ruslan Chagiev was like, oh, what's up? No, I'm retired. I don't want that belt, because the WBA tried to give it back to him. Then the WBA said, we're going to get rid of the belt. We're going to have a tournament. Damn near everybody in the tournament failed the drug test. Like, it's crazy. So now Manuel Char has that belt right now. But like I said, that's the short version. But it's a crazy, weird-ass story to explain. So like I said, the only reason why we're watching this is because this is very important for people who are out of the loop. Because this right here, this weird press conference with Joseph Parker's team, and this is their official page, Facebook page that they streamed on, and yet they got some guy holding an iPhone 2 with 3G technology, you know, recording this shit in fucking portrait mode. So it's just totally bizarre. It's like, yo, y'all talking all this shit, streaming this major press conference on your page, and you got somebody using a fucking whatever. But it's nice ass content though.
Prioritizing money over unifying the division. A unification bout is triple the size, maybe quadruple the size of a voluntary. And why is that? Perceived competition. You've got two unbeaten champions. Either man could win. You could say it's a 50-50 fight. Parochialism. You've got England versus New Zealand. You've got a perceived underdog versus a perceived, you know, bigger champion or whatever. That's not how we see it, but it has that ingredient. And the third important ingredient, it's got 2 stars. Our job is to build Joseph Parker's profile in the UK. And part of what we're going to do today is going to really put Joseph on the map in the UK, and it's going to create a lot of discussion among Joshua fans. We're probably going to cop some hate, as we often do. So even if Hearn and Joshua only care about the money, they should still unify. Why? Because it's triple the size, a true global event, the pie is much bigger, and so we're offering Hearn and Joshua 65% of a very, very big pie. So it would look a little weak if they instead went for voluntary and tried to grab 80 or 90% of a very small pie.
I want to see how much time was left.
And the public, the fans, they lose a bit of respect. So even at 55%, they're going to make more money unifying. So there are no excuses. Why does Joseph Parker beat Anthony Joshua? Simple. Parker has a granite chin, whereas Joshua may possibly have a glass jaw. Joshua's been dropped numerous times. Dropped at an amateur, dropped in sparring, dropped in the ring. It's the worst kept secret in British boxing. No one really talks about it much. It's like the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. And we wonder whether that's because Sky Sports, UK, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are powerful and maybe the media are scared to talk about it. But, you know, why not discuss this? It's a genuine...
You hear this shit they talking? Did you hear this crazy shit they talking? So Anthony Joshua's in a situation where you got Wilder coming at his neck. You know, you got Joseph Parker coming at his neck. So if he don't fight one of them necks, then, you know, and it's not him pulling the strings, it's Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn's probably telling him, you know, Eddie Hearn, good dude, you know, talking that jive. He's the best promoter of the year right now, you know. Like, he talking that jive, like, you know, we're going to get you this fight, then we're going to fight both. I'm like, put it this way. I know that Anthony Joshua would fight both of these guys. I know that the fights are going to happen. So, you know, you can say that at this point in time, really, none of this shit means nothing. But my job is to report the news and talk to you about how we got to this point. But I feel that there's a 90% chance that Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker is next. They just going through the motions to make sure they get the most money they possibly can go through to get this. Because if you're a promoter, right, I know if I'm a promoter, and I've talked about like what my promoting style would probably be one day, even if I don't become a promoter until I'm 50 years old. I'm 34 right now. You know, I'm going to be like, listen, all right, they trying to lowball us. Let's go on YouTube, talk some shit. You know, we get all dressed up in some suits, and we'll be like, we've heard the stories about how he's got knocked out in sparring. You know, we know those stories that are circulating around about him with the, you know, I be talking that shit. You know what I'm saying? If somebody come to me with some deal and I know I want some more money, we gonna get that bread. We gonna get we gonna get that bread, and we gonna try to cause so much shit and fuck up so much shit to get the most money. I know it may sound crazy, to get the most money we possibly can get. You know, before that deadline comes, before a contract has to be signed, because this can only drag out so long. So Anthony Joshua wants to return March or April. You see what I'm saying? It'll likely be April, you know, something like that. It'll definitely likely be April, you know, or no later than April. So really, you know, the fighters have to have an 8-week training camp. Then, you know, they got to do some promotion, you know, for the fight. So this shit can go on for another 20 days to a month, you know? This shit could go on for another 20 days to a month, where they decide like, yo, yeah, they came back to us with an offer of 70-30, but we told them we gonna stand, you know, stand tall at 35%. We need that bread, you know? So if this fight doesn't happen, who's in a tougher situation? Joseph Parker's team? Deontay Wilder's team? Deontay Wilder has some issues because he only has a limited amount of opponents that he can fight. And truth be told, I do not feel that Wilder versus Parker will happen. And Wilder versus Parker is a big fight amongst us hardcore fans. In order to get the maximum profit out of that fight, would Wilder have to go to New Zealand? You know? Or would they have to do it in Vegas and use it as, listen, all, you know, Joseph Parker team got to travel for this mega unification? But they've already said, this guy Higgins, they've already said that the Wilder offer was too low. And they know that they can make more money fighting, they can likely make more money fighting Lucas Brown You know, and definitely if they fight Anthony Joshua, then fighting Deontay Wilder. So it's this weird, and I talked about it in many videos. It's this weird Game of Thrones shit going on right now, and we're coming into like that final season because the way things are looking, one of these guys are going to be the undisputed champion of the world right now. And if you factor in Luis Ortiz, you know, because right now I feel confident that Wilder versus Ortiz is going to happen next. And then the winner of that and the winner of Parker or Joshua versus Parker is going to go on to fight each other at the end of the year, you know, or next year into mega unification for all the belts. It's crazy. So they want the Wilder fight, you know, and put it this way, even though it's all this political mumbo jumbo shit going on, they want Joshua versus Wilder to happen. And if it happens in the UK, you know, they're going to go for that 90,000 again. You know, but they want Wilder to get, you know, his name built up some more. You know, get that Luis Ortiz win if he can beat him to get some credibility behind his name, because Wilder already said he's down for it. So therefore, you can't talk about, well, why would he want to fight a cheat? Hey, he say he's down for it. You know, now do I believe that Luis Ortiz cheated? That's not up to me. It's not my job. It is, but still, it's controversial. It's controversial, but then it's tissue controversy, man. I feel like this. With the high blood pressure, I feel he didn't do anything wrong, but it looked like he did something wrong, and maybe he knew that, and that's why his team ain't fill out the paperwork. So they got the paperwork, and they looking at the paperwork like, oh, shit, are we taking anything? Well, we are taking in high blood pressure shit because he say he 34 or some shit, but we really know he 48. And, you know, he be eating them black-eyed peas and shit. I be telling him, you know, always stop putting salt, pepper, ketchup on shit. But I do know that blood pressure medication can be used to mask some steroid shit. So I'm not going to put that shit down on a paper and see if they don't know, you know, or see if they don't know any better. So it's an idiotic thing. And it's something that's like, yo, like everybody know, even Chris Arreola, we have an interview here on the channel where Chris Arreola was talking about, man, if I'm taking anything for anything, even though he got popped for weed, I guess you ain't going to put down, you know, like when you taking a VADA test for the WBC, yeah, I'm taking this from these fucking eye drops. I had a Monster Energy like 3 days ago, and weed. I smoked weed, you know, and I took some aspirin, had a headache, you know. So he said that he put everything down on that list. Like, you know, he said, no, like, you know, so what I've learned is, you know, after researching and, you know, asking questions, you know, so to some not famous trainers, but, you know, some people that follow me on social media and everything, like, yo, so if you're training a fighter or if you get like some documentation for like a drug test or something, do you put everything on there? Like, yeah, man, you put everything on there because you don't want to take no chances. And also you losing money. Everybody's losing money because you got to get a team, you got to get apparel, all kind of shit, you know? So it's just, you know, it's controversial, man. Briggs had asthma medication. He doesn't get a pass because he's not fighting Wilder. Who says we're giving like Luis Ortiz a pass? So, I wonder if Kovalev put on his drug testing, you know, documentation form, like, you know, like vodka, nothing else. No food, no nothing, vodka. No vodka. And what do Russians smoke? I think Russians smoke like non-filtered cigarettes. You know, them strong ass shits. Like fucking Lucky Strikes. Shit like that. Like, no filter. You know? But I don't know, it's looking nice for the heavyweight. So I don't really be feeding into like the bullshit about, you know, like, well, we want this type of money and all that. Yeah, you know, it's a part of the game. It's the game. It's the game. You know, the first thing you do, like if I'm a promoter, right, I'm not going to try to be fair to you. You the enemy. I'm going to come from the gate 90-10. 90. Now, we give you 10%. We'll give you some fucking, we'll give you some paper. Yeah, we'll give you some pay-per-view buys too. We'll give you some pay-per-view buys too. We'll give you some pay-per-view buys. You know, I'm going, you know, we starting with the low ball first. And then you be like, you know, you got to give us fucking 45%. We want 50-50. Now, you know they're going to come back with 50-50 first. You be like, you know that ain't happening. We walking away from the table. And I'll walk away real slow. You know, look back, start going through the door real slow. Like, you know what? You know, just email me on Monday and we can, you know, but if it's, we walking away, you know? So, of course, you know, they're going low ball from the beginning. But I already, man, like I said, I feel confident the fight's going to happen. Now, can Joseph Parker beat Anthony Joshua? It depends on how you look at it. He's an undefeated fighter. Even though he hasn't looked good in his last, you know, few fights, he's got the wins. And also, that chin of Anthony Joshua's, I do believe, is questionable. But, you know, he always says the right things at the right time. So he'd be like, well, you know, I'm a great fighter and great fighters go down. And we're going to get up in his perfect British accent and shit. You know, because we're warriors and that's what warriors do. And that's a learning experience. I'm still learning every day. Mr. Nice Guy always saying the nice things all the time. And I know it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing. You know, that he's, you know, a stand-up guy. And he's always saying, like, all the good shit and everything. It's a good thing. All right, I'm not, you know, that shit do get like, you know, like boring sometimes. Like, come on, man, you always saying all this right shit all the time. This correct shit. You know? Yeah, Valera, listen, boxing is the safest that it's been ever in history. Since there were no like fucking performance-enhancing drugs. You know, like since they wasn't even invented. But then back then, they used to fight with fucking skinny-ass, thin-ass gloves and bare knuckle and shit. You know? And Wilder said himself that he knows it's a 50-50 fight because he said, he said, I know I'm awkward. You know, but that awkwardness is what made me good. So he does have that one-punch power and that length, and his jab has gotten better. Wilder's jab is key, you know, to him beating, if he could beat Anthony Joshua. That jab is key because if he can use that as a distance finder, you know, and you know, like move around the ring, you know, that jab can frustrate you. You know? So that's why I say I really don't, you know, be feeding into like the you know, all the going back and forth and everything like that, because this is my job to study like the politics and shit. You know, and I be looking like, man, these motherfuckers gonna fight. They just giving each other the runaround. You know, calling random press conferences and shit. With a potato phone, an iPhone second generation with that new 3G technology. Wilder's jab looked like crap versus Washington, who had only 4 years experience. But of course, people still giving Joshua shit about the, you know, the Carlos Takam fight. You know, you're going to come across tough fights where you don't look good. You get the win, you get the win. You know, but that's when Windmill Helicopter Wilder was formed. You know, listen, I've said it many times before. That shit Wilder be coming at you with, that's some real scary shit. Imagine him, like, you know, he stun you real quick. And, you know, he coming in that's some scary shit. I don't want to get hit with none of that. And his hand is fucked up. Well, it was, so it's bionic now. He's got fucking metal in there and shit. I don't want that shit coming at me, man. You know, Wilder ain't no joke. You know, so, and his name is Wilder. So if you put a, what is it, apostrophe between like the D and the ER, it's Wilder. Like, you know, it's wilder than the rest. That shit's crazy, man. You know? Yeah, I saw Jared Washington before in person, and I'm fucking damn near about 6'2", about 6'3". He's a big dude. Oh, husky. You know? Yeah, hey, listen, I'm not here to argue about resumes. I'm not here to argue about resumes. You know? Resumes, listen, stars are born every day. You know, like one day, a fighter might have a fucked up resume. Like, look with Barrera and Hamed. You know? You won't know a boxer from nowhere. Look at fucking Marcos Maidana. And he got a money grab. He got 2 money grabs. He got 2 money grabs. It wasn't a money grab when you fought Pretty Boy, but it's a money grab when you fight Money Mayweather. You know, he got 2 money grabs. And look at him. You see, he living good. You know, he big as a house. You know. So, if Wilder beat Anthony Joshua, he goes on to superstardom. I mean, he's going to destroy the hearts of a lot of UK fans. They love Anthony Joshua to death, and they should. And they should. You know, if I was like a groupie media member, you know, I'd be like, yo, man, Wilder, man, America, fuck yeah. I don't feel like talking about the rankings, truth be told. This stream is only going to be an hour. I got to get some sleep. You know, we're closing the year out strong. We're closing the year out strong. The heavyweight division, man, is fucked up. You know, but, you know, I'm thoroughly educated on the rankings and the politics involved. But truth be told, it's a lot of mumbo jumbo. We do have some new entrants, though. Brian Jennings is in the mix. He wasn't in the mix 3 months ago. Who else is in the mix? Manuel Char is now in the mix. Gerald Big Baby Miller is officially in the mix. His next fight may be in an IBF eliminator, likely against Kubrat Pulev. You know, the heavyweight division is getting there. Like it's you know, one of these guys, like I said, it's going to either be Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua. One of those guys are going to be the undisputed champion of the world. One of those guys is going to be undisputed champion of the world. Likely this year, if all goes to plan. So the thing is, it can get fucked up if these unifications don't happen when they're supposed to, because then these fighters can take other paths, and maybe these other paths may lead to a belt. Like, for example, what if Joseph Parker lose to Brian Jennings, right? Or if he lose to a Lucas Brown, and then whoever promoters is saying, no, we're not ready for that yet. And then just so happen, somebody go and beat Joseph. You see, I'm seeing how it can get fucked up because promoters may say, no, we're not ready for that. Before you know it, the belts are split up again. You know, once them belts get split up, you know, no telling how long it'll take for somebody to be undisputed. That's why what Terrence Crawford did was a big deal. That's why the IBF couldn't let a guy like Sergey Lipinets come in and try to mess that up. You know, ain't nobody going to strip, you know, Gennady Golovkin. They want that undisputed. You know, ain't nobody going to strip Gennady Golovkin. That's why they have Charlo versus Hugo Centeno about to happen for the WBC interim. That's why I'm getting sleepy. The heat is on. Let me go turn the heat off. I'm wondering, like, I'm feeling all cozy and shit. I wonder what's going on. And I realize I'm getting hot. Let me go upstairs and turn the heat off. I'll be right back.
Human weakness is backed by facts.
Now listen, they talking shit. They talking shit about Anthony Joshua. Like literally, no bullshit. They talking shit about how he got knocked out, all that, and how they'll put 20,000 up for anybody who can show up and send them the footage or some footage of Joseph Parker being knocked down. They putting that bread out there. I wonder why this is taking so long. Yeah, Amir Mansour had a nice run, and they did him dirty with that draw. And when he got his jaw broken, I thought he had quit that fight. No, not his jaw. Did he get his jaw broken? I think they said he got his jaw broken or he bit into his tongue. Let me go turn this heat off. I'll be back.
Joshua's been dropped numerous times. Dropped as an amateur, dropped in sparring, dropped in the ring. It's the worst kept secret in British boxing. No one really talks about it much. It's like the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. And we wonder whether that's because Sky Sports UK, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are powerful, and maybe the media is scared to talk about it. But, you know, why not discuss it? It's a genuine weakness and it's backed by facts. So our job as a promoter, raising Joseph's profile in the UK, proving to fans it's actually a 50-50 fight and explaining why. Creating discussion, discord, rivalry, and we're going to do that using evidence and facts. We're going to name some of the many people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. And there's no disrespect here. Some Joshua fans already in social media saying we're disrespectful. Well, first of all this footage is in the public domain if you Google it. We're not revealing anything that's not available to any person in the world. And it's all factual. So the only thing disrespectful is Hearn and Joshua's lowball offer to Joseph Parker. So we're highlighting one of Joshua's weaknesses, his chin. Names of people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. We've got Lawrence Okoli, Maihi Nistor, Daniel Dubois, Vladimir Klitschko, David Price, and Dillian White in the amateurs. And we're convinced there'll be many more who've dropped Joshua. So our first offer to anyone in the United Kingdom, send us proof that you have also dropped Anthony Joshua, and be the first to do so, and we'll send you a special gift in the mail. I think we've got some footage now. We'll break for a bit and look at some footage of Joshua being dropped.
Don't worry, y'all. They messed it up. I'm back. Hold on. Wait a minute.
There's heaps more. This is just a snippet. Move that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even worth watching.
Sorry.
Hold on. That's me. Hold on. This is from their official page, too. It's crazy. Like how they really use this fucked up camera. Shit all freezing my fucking computer. But we're going to hang out for another 20 minutes. We got to move on to different topics. You know, so you can go back and rewind to the beginning of the video if you want to see the other shit. Sometime next week, this whole show is going to be different. Oh, wait, there you go, right there. Yeah, this was November the 21st at 6:36 p.m. And they had a press conference. Now, of course, it was, you know, early in the morning their time, I believe it was. I don't remember. But still, I think the press conference was successful. It did what it had to do. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Only want to play the end of it now. We already watched a good portion of it. Only want to play the end of it.
Look, thank you everyone for coming today for another Team Parker update. I've got quite a bit of serious content to rattle through, and after that we can take some questions and then get some photos. So a quick update from Team Parker. We're entering into a conditional contract with Lucas Brown that's going through as we speak in final stage negotiation.
So they're saying, okay, they're trying to put Joshua's back against the wall. They're saying we're going into a situational contract with Lucas Brown. So they're basically saying that if we don't get Anthony Joshua, he doesn't make a decision about giving us our 35%. And I think that's fair personally, that they're going to go ahead and fight Lucas Brown. And then it's going to do damage to the credibility of Joshua, because if he goes on to fight a guy like Manuel Char, then people are going to look at him like, yo, you're holding up a unification fight, you know, because of money.
But one of the conditions is that if we can make a lucrative sort of unification bout, we can then exit the Brown contract, provided we do look after Lucas Brown in some way. We also still have lucrative offers from Russia and China that are in the works.
Danny and Cam.
Team Parker has met to discuss a possible unification bout with Anthony Joshua and where that's at. Behind the scenes, negotiations are ongoing with Eddie Hearn, so Hearn and I have been exchanging emails on what a deal might look like. But the Parker team are now at a stage where they're willing to make public their final bottom line position, which is utterly non-negotiable. And so first of all, the deal would have to be an open book revenue share. Why? Because there's a whole lot of revenue streams that are potentially visible, like poster investment, pub and club, pay-per-view, etc., etc.
So basically, he's also saying that, you know, if they do fight, that they want to see the books on everything, you know, like they want everything to be open, like, you know, from how many sodas sold, you know, like everything. So they want 35%, but they also don't want nothing to be hidden, because what I've learned, a lot of fighters, you know, get pissed, especially once they start getting educated, to them not getting money from like merchandise being sold, concessions. So for example, every time Floyd Mayweather fights, he gets a percentage of everything being sold in the arena, you know, all across the board, whether it's pay-per-views and everything. So a lot of promoters don't ask for that type of, you know, don't ask for that. But also, if they do ask, they may not get it. You know, as far as transparency, it's like, listen, I want to see where every single dime, you know, that's being spent on this fight for everything is coming from, period. You know, how much are you getting for your fighter going on this network to promote the fight? How, you know, everything.
So a fixed fee doesn't really do it justice. We want all the revenue costs in the pot to see what it is. So all that's to be agreed is what is a fair, respectable ratio for each boxer, for Joshua and Parker. And our team have decided our bottom line minimum will drop it a little as a sign of good faith.
This Bill the Boxer dude coming in here with that old ass news. We've been talked about that here, bro, and it's not, you know, I'm not even going to comment no more on that idiocy.
Proof that we're not all talk and we do want to unify. We started around 50 or 40%, and we're going to drop down to 35% of net profit to unify, and we'll take the fight next if Joshua will agree. I'll explain why we feel that anything less than 35% is not only disrespectful to Joseph Parker, but a disgrace. Well, first of all, Joshua has 2 of the major credible heavyweight belts, and Parker has 1 of them. So it's sort of around the 2/3, 1/3. There seems a natural justice to that. Kids around the world dream of becoming heavyweight world champion, so they can set up their family for life. And you know, Joseph started at age 3 or 4 with his dad and done the hard yards for 20-something years, and got a team around him. And that's got to count for something. A mandatory bout pays 30%, voluntary usually less. So if a mandatory 30, what's a global unification worth? It's got to be worth 35% for us, because it's an intercontinental event that would only happen once every 10 years. I think the last one was Klitschko 7 or 8 years ago, and the last undisputed champion was Lennox Lewis. We want to make that happen. We're not all talk. So the onus is now on Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to back up their words. So to prove they're sincere, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua have to put together a fight with either Joseph Parker or Deontay Wilder. But if they don't, if they instead take a hand-picked voluntary like Alexander Ustinov, that will be very embarrassing for them, and it will show that they're probably prioritising money over unifying the division. A unification bout is true.
So you hear what he said? You know, I can't say it's propaganda because it is real shit. So he's saying that basically, you know, it's going to be disgraceful if, you know, Joshua doesn't choose Joseph Parker, or if Hearn doesn't choose Joseph Parker for 35%, because then it'll show that, you know, they're making the money more important than fighting for history. You know, so like I said before, even though it was a bizarre, you know, press conference, I can't even say bizarre anymore because it was smart, but it was different. They held this random press conference to give an update. This is the second one they've had so far. you know, and they'll do it like major press conference tomorrow, you know, big news coming, and you'll think like, oh shit, they're gonna announce who they fighting, and then it's something like this. But even though they're very informative, it's just like different, but different in a good way, because they clowning Anthony Joshua, but in a good way, and they're also talking about things that, you know, are going to put Anthony Joshua in the bad light that a lot of fans already feel, you know.
Triple the size, maybe quadruple the size of a voluntary. And why is that? Perceived competition. You've got two unbeaten champions. Either man could win. You could say it's a 50-50 fight. Parochialism. You've got England versus New Zealand. You've got a perceived underdog versus a perceived, you know, bigger champion or whatever. That's not how we see it, but it has that ingredient. And the third important ingredient, it's got 2 stars. Our job is to build Joseph Parker's profile in the UK, and part of what we're going to do today is going to really put Joseph on the map in the UK, and it's going to create a lot of discussion among Joshua fans. We're probably going to cop some hate, as we often do. So even if Hearn and Joshua only care about the money, they should still unify. Why? Because it's triple the size, a true global event, the pie is much bigger, and so we're offering Hearn and Joshua 65% of a very, very big pie. So it will look a little weak if they instead went for voluntary and tried to grab 80 or 90% of a very small pie, and the public, the fans, they'll lose a bit of respect. So even at 55%, they're going to make more money unifying, so there are no excuses. Why does Joseph Parker beat Anthony Joshua? Simple.
There's only about 7 minutes left.
Whereas Joshua may possibly have a glass jaw. Joshua's been dropped numerous times. Dropped at an amateur, dropped in sparring, dropped in the ring. It's the worst kept secret in British boxing. No one really talks about it much. It's like the story of the Emperor's new clothes. And we wonder whether that's because Sky Sport, UK, Eddie Hearn and Joshua are powerful, and maybe the media are scared to talk about it. But, you know, why not discuss this? It's a genuine weakness, and it's backed by facts. So our job as a promoter, raising Joseph's profile in the UK, proving to fans it's actually a 50-50 fight, and explaining why. Creating discussion, discord, rivalry, and we're going to do that using evidence and facts. We're going to name some of the many people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. And there's no disrespect here. Some Joshua fans are already in social media saying we're disrespectful. Well, first of all this footage is in the public domain if you Google it. We're not revealing anything that's not available to any person in the world. And it's all factual. So the only thing disrespectful is Hearn and Joshua's lowball offer to Joseph Parker. So we're highlighting one of Joshua's weaknesses, his chin. Names of people who have dropped Anthony Joshua. We've got Lawrence Okoli, Maihi Nistor, Daniel Dubois, Vladimir Klitschko, David Price, and Dillian White in the amateurs. And we're convinced there'll be many more who've dropped Joshua. So our first offer to anyone in the United Kingdom, send us proof that you have also dropped Anthony Joshua, and be the first to do so, and we'll send you a special gift in the mail. I think we've got some footage now. We'll break for a bit and look at some footage of Joshua being dropped. Intercontinental unification, you have, and I'd say the British fans would agree.
What would you expect the total kind of pot to be for a fight like this?
It depends. It builds over time. Like a lot of Joshua fans are going to find this today. Somehow they'll decide it's disrespectful when it isn't really. You can Google all that stuff we showed, and that'll create a rivalry. And a lot of people start demanding Eddie make the fight with Parker, unify. So they'll come under massive pressure to unify comparison. And that rivalry building in the media can turn.
See? So they know exactly what they're doing. You know, they're saying like, you know, like people are going to look at this press conference as being like disrespectful. So I wonder if they used the iPhone 2 in the portrait mode and shot this press conference like this way. You know? Just to piss people off. But you want to see something funny real quick? And I hope that he continues to do things like this because it's good for his career. And I've noticed, even though he's been preaching like a lot, y'all notice he's been preaching Deontay Wilder a lot. and he be making up words, still, that shit is working. Keep doing it, bro. You know, I want him to keep, you know, like making up words and, you know, preaching and eating, you know, spicy ass potato chips. You know, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Cause it was hilarious, and I hope he keeps doing stuff like this. So I may have to take the chat off while I play this. Hold on, we're almost there. We're almost there. I don't know why it's taking me so long to scroll down. I could have just pulled it up on oh, here it is, right here. The full screen.
And I'm about to destroy this one chip challenge. It's the chip versus the champ. Ooh. Yo, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm about to destroy this one chip challenge. It's the chip versus the champ. Ooh. It smell like Doritos. Knock this out like I do all my other opponents. Oh, this ain't bad, man. They should have put some more spices on here. This is all they had, man. I fight for a living, man. This ain't that. It's just mind over matter. It done got hot in here for some reason. Yeah, I'm just thinking about my grandma. I want my tears come out, man. I'm thinking about my grandma. She was a good woman. She taught me everything I know. Ooh, I can feel the burn rolls up. Ooh, shit. I don't know why my tongue getting a little wet. Oh, boy. Yeah, it was all right. I think I need another one. Why does shit make you reminisce about the good old days? Oh, I got a little spice right here. This is all they got. And you know what? I'm the champ, baby. I never crack under pressure. So, you know, I'm going to go with no man that gone before. I'm in a 12-round fight. I ain't lying. Woo. Why my nose? At least I know I'm alive. I'm emotional right now, God. I'm so emotional right now. Hey, Anthony, I challenge you. I challenge you, mate. Let's see who the toughest. The fight started with this one chip, baby. You up for the test?
I ate these fucking hot wings from Buffalo Wild Wings like 4 years ago. You know how like they would have like the list of like the different hot sauces and shit, and you go all the way to the top, you know, and it'd be like the hottest of the hot. I was like, man, that shit ain't nothing. Let me get those. Dude was like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Man, I was fucked up for like 2 weeks. Never again, man. Never again. AJ is the savior of the heavyweight division. Yeah, okay. Damn, what Bob Arum do? Charlo moved up to middleweight for the green belt, not the IBF. Yeah, he's going to be fighting Hugo Centeno, most likely on the undercard of Spence versus Peterson here in New York. I'm going to that. You know? Yeah, it's boxing. HBO doing HBO. Tonight was the first of HBO's 4 straight cards. We're gonna watch Kovalev knock out Shabranskyy. Listen to his post-fight interview. One more. No, you know what we gotta watch? This is what we gotta watch. I'm gonna show you. Now, obviously, don't say no dumb shit. Like, man, show the whole fight. So if anybody say that, put them on timeout. Yo, motherfuckers gonna get me shut down. So don't say that shit. Yeah, this is what we're gonna watch. Oh
Start right there.
This to Andre Ward upended the narrative. We caught up with Sergey during training camp to discuss the aftermath of his losses to Ward and the changes they forced. The most sinister presence of anyone in boxing. Kovalev is clinically in command here. Enjoys inflicting punishment.
This guy is a mean fighter.
Sergey Kovalev's meteoric rise through the light heavyweight ranks earned him a bout with pound-for-pound perennial Andre Ward in November 2016, and been following his controversial decision loss in that fight. Their rematch this summer played out much differently.
Hard right hand by Ward.
Kovalev looks finished.
And Tony Weeks is gonna stop the fight.
Этому мешку проиграть и П, блядь, это вообще... Бля, ноги с молодовато, бля, остановили, пиздец. Это пиздец, конечно. Он просто бам,
I should have hit him in the nuts too.
I recognize that he won. But this dirty and low blow, and after this, like, stop the fight, it's not good.
They're getting away with the low blows. I think this is hurting him mentally more than physically.
After the fight, yes, I was disappointed, and I came back to Russia July 20th. Yeah, I got a car accident.
Though his car was destroyed, Kovalev walked away unscathed. The accident served as a wake-up call for the fighter.
It's a miracle for me, and after this, I started to change my mind and my body and everything. I did not very right things between the fights. I stopped the workouts, trainings, you know, and I paid for this. I lost the titles. I delete a lot of trash from my mind and a lot of wrong things what I did before.
If Kovalev says he's achieved clarity, it was certainly tested this September, when rumors began to swirl that Kovalev and his longtime trainer John David Jackson had split. Rumors that were confirmed in a scathing interview Jackson gave to a popular boxing podcast.
What I read, this interview, I was shocked. Like, he was not happy working with me already a long time before this situation.
Sergey and John David Jackson, they never had like a very, very good relationship.
1, 2, 3.
No. Just understand that John only working on the mitts. John don't give me like any like exercise, just like playing with his cell phone.
He needs to respect a trainer. He needs a trainer who's gonna tell him what to do, not vice versa.
Seeking a more collaborative boxing coach, the Kovalev camp turned to this man, Abror Tursunpulatov.
That's his new trainer. Yo, why they show John David Jackson with his cell phone? I don't be liking that shit. Like when Curtis Stevens got knocked out, he just sitting there like, shit. I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you that next. You know, and then with B.Y. Jennings, you know, got stopped. He just sitting there like, shit. You know, I don't like. That's one thing I don't like about him as a trainer, man. He seemed like he just don't be giving a fuck. This is a Kovalev new trainer. He's supposed to be like the man that Kovalev is listening to, and he's going to change Kovalev. But can he stop Kovalev from drinking the vodka, man? But then it's like this, right? He fucking, like, is it racisms? Like, if I say, like, he Russian and he drink vodka, he admitted to it. So it's just like, you Russian. That's just like if you Jamaican, right, and you don't got or Haitian, and you don't got a knife. What Jamaican or Haitian you ever met don't got no blade? You see, it's like, it's, you know. But however, in today's society, you can't say, well, you know, what black person don't got no chicken in their house? So we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We don't go there.
Of Uzbekistan. Best known for his work with gold medalist Fasladin Gaidnazarov, his 27 years in the sport certainly qualify him for the job. But for Kovalev, other shared connections are most important.
First of all, he speaks Russian, and we had also same mentally from USSR. We was born USSR and thinking like the same. I'm feeling comfortable with him, you know.
Ну, я себя как, я всегда умею находить общий язык со своим учеником. Я увидел у него то, что я смогу дать, он возьмет.
It's just like a memo of my mistakes, like delete this, add this, push more, you know, like, or here, like a step back.
Мы с этого взяли какой-то большой урок, а сейчас двигаемся вперед. У него есть мотивация.
This lesson from the worst fight, this car accident, and relationship with Abror, and also that I cleaned up my mind, my body, I will be the same crusher who I was before.
Yeah, I'm working on a way where we can all like watch fights together. I mean, I'm not gonna make no money from it. It can't be on YouTube either. But I'm working on the way like where I can put out like a little bulletin here on YouTube and be like, yo, you know, like we watching these fights over at such and such. But more so, it's only gonna be for certain people, you know, because I don't want people to think that I'm fucking showing free fights and shit. It's not gonna be for that. It's gonna be for film studies, and it's not gonna be on fight night because after, you know, but it'll be like, for example, like on a Monday or a Tuesday, if it's like a controversial fight, I'll be like, yo, click this link. We're watching this fight over at such and such, you know, then we could fast forward and rewind and everything like that. You know, so that's what I'm working on. You know, obviously I can't do it here. I'm blessed to be able to, you know how to communicate with the right people to be able to do things like this. So you don't want to like overstep your boundaries, if you get what I'm saying. You know, so I want to show y'all something. And I've been live for 1 hour and 25 minutes. So I didn't start with no music or nothing. This is a straight, clean live stream. You know, so it won't be edited or anything. It don't have to be. There's no music, no nothing. So we talked about a lot of stuff from the beginning of the video, you know, as far as the heavyweight division and, you know, Kovalev. And if he beats this, like he's saying that he wants Dimitri Bivol, the Archibald to BF. If he beats these guys, this young and up and coming crop of light heavyweights, that's going to make him on the path to greatness again. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, what I've learned is they don't give him enough credit for how well he did as a boxer. You know, not a fighter, but like as a boxer, is showing like he can adapt and everything like that. In that first fight, in the first Ward fight, he was outboxing Andre Ward, you know? The second fight, he was fucking smoking fucking cigarettes and shit. He said it. You know, it's like you training for the biggest fight of your career. You wonder why you're getting beat up in the body and getting knocked out by it's the biggest fight of your career. The fighter, Andre Ward, was already talking about how I'm going to get him to the body at the beginning of the next fight. You would think if somebody's going to go to the body on you and they're telling you in your next fight, I'm going to you on the body because I know you can't take it. But yet you're not doing the right shit in camp. You got to have an excellent strength and conditioning coach saying, hey, listen, bro, he gonna beat me like a drum. You know, you got to make sure I'm cool all around here. What should I be eating? You know, because that shit, the first fight was getting to me. Like, wouldn't you think that would be the smart thing to do? Or if you're his team, hire somebody and be like, listen, you had John David Jackson and like, you know, like he was getting to you to the body in the second half of the fight. So let's make sure the first fight, if he come out here trying to do that shit, you know, it's not going to work like he want to. So I would think I'm going to hire somebody like, listen, go make sure he's eating right. I don't give a fuck if you got to show up to his crib fucking 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. He don't know it. And he be mad like, yo, who the fuck told me to show up to you? Who the fuck told you to show up to my crib? And I'm like, bro, your promoter told me to show up here, man. And they said you're going to be mad because you was drinking vodka last night. But you can't be drinking vodka. You know? Harassing. You know, I would do that to my fighters. I'll be popping up on my fighters like, oh, you here doing some coke, huh? You here doing some reefer. So you know they're going to be coming around to test you when your next fight coming up in a couple months. You make sure you stop smoking that shit, man. You know? Clean up. And that's why a lot of fighters don't want to be on that 24/7 shit because you can't have no life. You can be out one night. You be like, man, fuck that. I ain't fight this year. You know, so, you know, I'm going to smoke a little pot. You know, I'm going to do a little line of cocaine. They come test you the next few days or so. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, well, you in that 24/7. We saw your Snapchat. We saw your Snap. And we saw you was at the club last night. And we was like, wait a minute. He ain't really like fucked up off liquor. That's something else. Let's roll up on him. I would think that would be common sense. In my person, you know, let's roll up on him, get that blood and that piss. Let's get that piss. You'll fail the shit out of test. So that's why, you know, that's the inside shit that they don't tell you about. That's why a lot of these fighters don't be wanting to take that 24/7 shit. So for fighters who take 24/7, you know, drug testing, that means what it is that's not saying they're going to show up. So for example, there was this situation with Thurman versus Garcia where you're the WBC, it's the clean boxing program. You got to be, you know, like tested and shit. They wasn't tested till like a few weeks before the fight or some old crazy shit like that. You know, but the thing is that 24/7 shit can scare the shit out you if you're a fighter like a motherfucker like Adrian Broner who like to party. Who like to party. You know, see, there's fighters that are using like PEDs and there's fighters that are like partying. You know, where they're like, man, my fight is over. You know, I'm gonna do a line to take the edge off. Or I'm gonna smoke a little reefer. A little devil's lettuce, you know, or do some fucking PCP or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what these young kids are doing. The Mollies, the Molly Percocets. You can't take that shit during fight camp, you know. Let's talk about some other shit. This didn't went way to the left. So I guess to close out the video, we got a half an hour, exactly 29 minutes left. You know, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I can't wait for this fight. Phone. On his cell phone. Y'all see this mess? Y'all see this mess? Your fighter just got knocked out, bro. He ain't show no love. He just looked like, shit. Went back, you know, checking his feed. Checking his feed. But yeah, you know, you do not want to trade with David Lemieux. That shit be looking crazy. You know, his fucking hair, he be like he be doing all these fucking motions and pausing and shit. You know, that shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. You know, you don't want to trade with Lemieux. He be throwing all his powers into all his power into his shots. That's why Golovkin was smart. He had to stick that jab from the beginning to neutralize all that shit and to discourage David Lemieux from coming in on the inside. By the way, if David Lemieux wins, Canelo versus David Lemieux is happening. It's not going to be Golovkin next. It's not going to be Golovkin next. Yeah, maybe John David Jackson hollering at some bitches. Maybe he always had bitches set up after fights. Or he be setting bitches up and can't. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm here, my fighter right now. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? We get hit up at Applebee's later on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but look how he looked, though. Look how he look up. So, mind you, somewhere on this side where we don't see, Curtis Stevens is being attended to by doctors and shit. And it's like, you over here, bro. Look at him. Look at his face. And then he just goes back. It's really hard not to start like busting out and laughing. Like inside right now, like I want to just start cracking the fuck up. Like I'm talking about like uncontrollably. Like just laughing my ass off. Show the one with Ortiz Jennings. Is there highlights? Will we see John David Jackson? No. I don't know if I should show that. You know, we already pushing the limit. We already pushing the limit on our on our usage. On our usage. But yeah, that's one of the things we're gonna be doing, man. I got a podcast starting. You know, got a podcast starting. I can finally start making some money off all this stuff. Podcast's gonna be definitely in December. Like, even if it's the last day of December, you know, I've been researching and everything, getting everything in order. You know, I got some new equipment things coming. You know, some merchandise. We're going to be selling hoodies and all kind of stuff like that. You know? He's got the Team Stevens shirt on, too. Dang. You know, he ain't even tend to... I mean, your fighter just get knocked out. Your fighter just got knocked the fuck out. And you want some cool shit. You like, shit. No, he ain't even say, he's emotionless. He ain't even saying, like, you know how, like, your fighter, like, he just look at it like when Kovalev's balls got punched. When Kovalev's balls got punched. His balls got punched. You know? Just so happens his balls are really high. His balls are, like, up here. You know? I wonder if, you know, Paulie, where's your balls? Did you bring your balls, Kovalev? Where's your balls? Kovalev, like, they're right here. They're right here. He has balls on his chest. Oh, and then Ward was sticking. We gotta go watch the highlights. We gotta go watch the highlights. Ward was Lemieux. Ward was sticking those body shots, yo. We gotta go watch the highlights. High ass balls. High ass ball sack, bro. Your ball sack so high up. And Kovalev, like, I should have hit him in the nuts too. No bullshit, he said that. He said I should have hit him in the nuts too. But truth be told, that's kind of what you should do, man. Punch his balls back. You letting that man punch your balls like that. Punch his balls back. Just saying. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Hold on. Here we go. We're going to start right here.
Every single time, why he's scoring it that way. 3, I should say, by Ward was blocked by Kovalev. Crowd responded as though it was a team more punches to this point in the fight than he threw it to Ward's counter shots.
Kovalev looks as though he's looking for a breather.
Hit him now. Oh, there you go. You see his legs, he's done this fight.
Roman has a chance to knock him out with a minute still to go in the 8th round.
Body shot, he's hurt from the body shot, bad. Body
shots and a left hook.
Yeah, he's
Kovalev in big trouble. Seconds to go in the round. Crowd rocking and rolling. Ward, like the
the smart finisher that he is, trying to go to the body, and Tony Weeks is going to stop the fight. Stopping the fight in the 8th round as a sustained body attack from Andre Ward continued. Kovalev never went to the canvas.
Kovalev looked like he was looking for...
Heard him. He acted like it was a low blow. Most
I saw him. He was holding his balls.
fighters know that if a guy acting like that's a low blow, that shot right there on the chin hurt though. That buckled his
team to survive. And as he looked for space in the ring and looked for a chance to get away after that right hand, which you had already seen once, here's what Ward did. Body. Missing over the top to the head. And now, watch these body shots that ultimately sealed the deal. And look at the effort that Ward puts into every body shot.
Hold on, let me slow it down. Let me slow that shit down. Where's that? Right here, right? Let's see him punch those balls. No, I don't know if, truth be told, I said they're not the balls. I said they're not the balls. Those balls. Oh man. Oh man. But you know, I don't think it was the balls. I think, you know, they were on the belt line. It was a high belt line. It's this first one though that get me. Like it kind of nip him a little bit. That is 1 point off any day. It was 1 point off any day. Ward is known for that, by the way, going right in after the break. Oh. I can't watch anymore. I can't watch anymore. Can't watch anymore. I can't do it. Andre Ward won, great champion, retired with 3 belts. Those 3 belts are now up for grabs. Well, Kovalev won 1. Bivol has 1. You know? Yeah, Holyfield was the king of the headbutt. He would headbutt you to smithereens. He headbutt you so hard, make you want to bite his ear off. Well, you don't want to go home to your kids looking like a monster. You know? Yeah, that's when he was calling Andre Ward, what is it, the son of Weeks? Who said I was going to the Cotto fight? I never said that. No way. I packed it in. I'm not. The next fight I'm going to is I'm going to go to the Cotto press conference. Wait, is that fight next week? God damn it. It's fight week, ain't it? Cotto fight is next week. I got to go to New York 3 days, 2 days next week. Oh, God damn it. Well, the next fight I'm going to is the Spence fight. This week is Cotto versus Saddam Ali fight week. And it's the Spence versus Peterson press conference on Wednesday, so I got to go to that. But it's just like, damn, you know? God damn it. So I said I was going to go to one Cotto event, you know, even though I'm not going to the fight, you know, to send him off the proper way. You know, I've never been to a Cotto event. You know, so even though his events be boring because he don't talk about nothing, you know, still, you got to pay homage, you know? You got to pay homage, you know? But, you know, it is what it is, man. Go out there, you know, really, damn, that's a painful, look how, if you can see, like, look how red his face is. Like, his face turned, like, bloody red after those stomach shots. Because that's what they were. They were legal blows. They were legal blows. They were right on the belt line. It's just that, you know, legend has it, heavy Russian vodka drinkers have high ball scrotums. You know? So, yes, Kovalev's balls may be that high. His balls may be that high. I don't know why, you know, HBO has the same card the same night as that, you know, Rigondeaux card. We all know that the boxing masses are going to be watching, you know, the Rigo fight. It's not like Mayweather-McGregor, where Mayweather-McGregor had to happen on August the 26th, but Cotto Kamagai was already scheduled, you know? The good thing about both of those cards is if you have HBO and, of course, if you have ESPN, you can DVR them both, you know? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be watching HBO on one screen, ESPN on another. You see what I'm saying? So I'm good, you know? But for people, you know, who the high ball niggas, got them high balls, got that high ball sack. That shit crazy. And then y'all saw he went to the locker room after the fight and was like, I should have punched him in the nuts too. It's too late. He destroyed your nutsack. He stuck those shots, yo. Your nutsack is, how does your nutsack recover from that? That shit is scary, man. That shit is scary. And he goes right in. Like, your scrotum is mine. Yeah. Kovalev is in some severe pain right there. He probably had to shit on himself. he probably had to shit on himself. Look, Ward, like, yeah, I got him. That's some scary shit, man. That's some scary shit. And it doesn't help that Ward is known to, like, have, like, a bad reputation and shit. You know, for being kind of dirty. You know? So we got 13 minutes left. What are we going to talk about these last 13 minutes? And I'm taking my ass to bed. It's way past my bedtime. I've already been up since motherfucker. Oh, I took a nap, so I should be good. The sleeping schedule's all messed up. Man, I can't do this, man. I got to get it together. Salido was known for wars. Yeah. Salido was the last significant win of Yurkis Gamboa'S career. Poor Jason Sosa got robbed. That was some cooking. You know, and it's crazy because people saying Don Trella, one of the judges, you know, works for Golden Boy. You know, he was one of the same judges that scored for Canelo. You know, or was he the draw, whatever the case may be. You know, Yurkis Gamboa'S career was saved tonight because I was like, if he loses this fight, people are going to say he done. But people still say he done even though he got the decision via robbery. He did take the fight on 3 weeks' notice. But if people are not talking about, and HBO didn't mention his last fight in Cancun, he almost lost that too. Then he lost to Robinson Castellanos, who went on to fight Jezreel Corrales. Jezreel Corrales should have lost that fight or should have rematched him. Jezreel Corrales goes on to fight, what's his name, Alberto Machado? Lose to him, you know. My heart says Rigondeaux, you know, but common sense. My heart says Rigondeaux, but common sense is telling me Lomachenko, you know. The sad thing about that fight is, even though we all want to see it, the fight is tainted. Because if Rigondeaux loses and he is the underdog, if he loses, people are going to say, well, he was too small anyway. You know, the fight is tainted, and it's a shame. You know, because in this day and age, you know, people always talking about how fighters got to move up to take the test, you know, like to be great. But then if they move down, but then if they like, you know, lose, they're going to be like, well, it was too big for the division anyway, or too small for the division anyway. Oh, shit. What up, Ronaldo? Fuck. I'm getting a nice-ass chair, too. I'm ordering on Monday. I want to see my new chair. We getting official around here, man. I got a nice microphone. You know, coming. I'm going to have borders around, like, all this stuff. You know? But we're getting there, man. We're getting there. But the chair I'm getting has, like, excellent lumbar support. So I can, like, sit up straight and be able to sit in this chair for hours, like, comfortably. You know? I got all this technology. I love my technology. Yeah, but you know, Chocolatito took the test. Even though we know he was too small, it's like still, me, I'm not making no excuses for you. You know, I'm not making no excuses for Rigging down. You know, if he's supposed to be great, then he should know he's got to be a crisp, clean counterpuncher, and he's got to move. Because we know, or we should assume, that Lomachenko is going to be the aggressor. He's going to be walking, you know, try to walk Rigging down and use all that shit he be doing, all that matrix shit. You know? Is rumor true? Yeah, they're working on getting Roman Gonzalez. I don't call no man no chocolate Tito. You know, I'm not calling no man no chocolate. I'm not calling no man that. No way. No way. So yes, Roman Gonzalez is going to be back. You know, and it's like, is he going to stay at 115 or go to 112? You know, because when I saw the first Suris Saket Rung Visai fight, I was like, man, he won that fight. Meaning Suriket Rung Visai, and I said he's walking through Roman Gonzalez's punches. So in the second fight, he's probably going to knock him out. He ain't scared of him. And that's what I was worried about, or am worried about, with Canelo versus Golovkin too, because Golovkin in the first half of the fight was on some scared shit, wasn't he? And then after he realized he could take Canelo's best shots, he started walking him down. So what if he comes into the fight in that second fight, you know, with Golovkin, and Golovkin, you know, just starts doing that shit that he did in the second half of the fight in the first half, because he realizes he could take his best shot. The same thing with Andre Ward in the second half of the Kovalev fight. He knew, like, okay, he got some power, but let me go to the body. He brought that same game plan from round 12 into the first round on of the second fight. You know, it's been logical that way. If a fighter can take your punches, you know, and they know they can take your punches, the second fighter, if there's a rematch, they're going to walk you down. It's always technically been like that. Even when you go look at Roy Jones versus Tarver all those years ago. You know, Tarver knew, like, oh, shit, I can really beat you. Even though you got the decision this time, next time, what's your excuse, Roy? You know? You know? Depends. Yeah, Roman Gonzalez, you know, they're putting him back on the, they're rebuilding him back up, you know? A lot of people argue with why he was pound for pound. But when you look at the resume, even though we wasn't seeing the fights here in America, you know, and a lot of people in the UK wasn't seeing the fight because they wasn't being televised, you know, enough for us, still what he was accomplishing was enough for him to be pound for pound, especially once I've researched. You know? Yeah, Tevin Farmer, nice. He got to get it together, though. You know? I keep drinking his fucking soda. Not working. Luckily, we got 7 minutes left. Yeah, y'all some fucking savages, man. Y'all some fucking savages. And y'all some bullies. Half of y'all bullies. You know? I had some dude threaten me the other day. He called me up. I texted this girl, happy Thanksgiving. Dude called me up, mad as shit. I put it on my Instagram. He's like, yo, motherfucker, my phone calling motherfucker girl, nigga. I was like, bro, Just said that be that given, bro. Is Collazo still injured? No, he should be cool now. He should be cool now. I wonder who he's gonna fight though. Yeah, he should be cool now. They probably gonna get him one fight, you know, like Fox Sports 1 or something. Then put him in there against like Spence or somebody. Nah, they can't put him in there against Spence. That ship sailed. The ship sailed. So that boy trying to look at his own nose. Yo, y'all fucked up, man. Y'all need to get it together. Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. I shouldn't even read that. Yo, you a bigot. You a bigot. That's fucked up, bro. That's best. You ain't shit. And it's the holidays too. It's fucked up. Let's change the subject, man. I can't feed into this. Collazo versus Lucas Matisse. No, Lucas Matisse fighting some guy for the WBA world title that Lamont Peterson dropped to fight Errol Spence. Yet they keep saying they're gonna get rid of the belt. The WBA is a bunch of phonies. That's what they are, a bunch of phonies. Can Peterson beat Spence? If he fights like the pressure fighter he's supposed to be, and not try to pull that shit he pulled with Danny Garcia with all that moving and all that shit, all that Lionel Richie dancing on the ceiling, all that all night long. He was dancing like a motherfucker, yo. He was dancing the night away. He had the happy feet. What? Remember, he wasn't sitting down in the corner. Angel Garcia was like, man, he was on that shit. You know, that's why. You know, dude had like endless stamina. I remember he came into the ring like 165, right? But he took the fight. Nobody else would take the fight. And it's a big fight. It's growing. People want to see it. I'm up in there. I told y'all the press conference is on Wednesday. I'm going to be streaming it. I'm going to be streaming the man, you know it ain't going to be like no, it ain't going to be like no shit talking or nothing like that. They're going to be all respectful and everything like that. But still, you know, still got to be up in there. You know, Peterson dropped the belt. Yeah, he dropped his belt. Because you know that WBA world, you can't unify. Remember, Keith Thurman is WBA Super World. Lamont Peterson was the WBA World. You know, so in order to take on Spence, he had to drop his belt. So when he dropped his belt, I said, yeah, it's definitely confirmed that he fighting Spence. It was confirmed. Like, when he dropped his belt, he dropped it like a month before the fight was even announced, maybe more. You know? It's a good fight on paper, though. Yeah, Andre dropped his belt, too. You know, to move to 160. It's two different situations, though. Andre dropped his 154-pound WBA title to fight Atlantes Fox to be rated by the WBA and the IBF at 160. Peterson dropped his belt at 147 because you can't unify that belt with that IBF title, you know. So he had to drop that, even though he would have been made Keith Thurman's mandatory. They already stated that the WBA. You know. Yes, we got 2 minutes left, man. I'm gonna jump in the shower, and I'm gonna lay my ass down. I'm tired of man. You know, but I said, you know what? You gotta do these videos, bro. You know, show them that you ain't messing around. You know, so we got a podcast coming, man. I got a lot of things that's been going on, but it's all coming together in this month or next month in December. It's all going to form into like a nucleus of a fucking Dragon Ball, but all the Dragon Balls are in one Dragon Ball. That's me just talking tired. You know, got the podcast, got the website. You know, we got this, you know, like we're doing, you know, different things than anybody else is doing. And it took a lot to get here. You know, it wasn't easy to be able to do this. You know how many people I had to communicate and how many fucking copyrights I had to use my karate on, fucking fighting them off left and right. You know, fighting them off left and right, you know, threatening to sue people. You know, but we here, man. We here. If Peterson beats Spence is the biggest upset in the last 20 years, really? Really? So we getting that, man. I want to make sure when y'all come to this show, like if some crazy shit go down in boxing, like I wish I was doing this shit with Ward and Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? Or when you know, so we could have went through it on fight night with the slow motion and shit, you know, or like when the footage of the Paulie Malignaggi, Conor McGregor footage came out, you know, where we can just pull that shit up on the big screen and like we're gonna fucking analyze this. Like, did that punch connect? You know, remember when that footage came out, that was some hot news. Everybody had to see the Conor McGregor Paulie sparring footage, the leaked sparring footage, the fuzzy footage. Paulie said the UFC got all the cameras. They could have released the footage, but they didn't. They was hating. They was hating. You know, they was like, nah, we gonna show the part of you getting knocked down. Don't talk shit about our guy Conor. You know? Yeah, Jason Sosa was right. We didn't even talk about my man Sullivan Barrera, but we at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? So we got to save that for like Monday or something. I'm probably not even going to do no videos on Monday. I got a lot of running around to do. You know? Alvarez isn't being avoided. He's seen as the weakest in the division. And also that political thing right there with him too. Because he's like property of ESPN. You know? That ESPN deal is good for Bob Arum, but it's that exclusivity of those fighters that's the issue. Like where fighters would have to go to ESPN likely to fight, you know? It's not bad for the fighter. No, I ain't doing no motherfucking 1 more hour. I'm done. You know, I'm done. Let me set my alarm now. Hey, Google. No, I don't want to do that. I could do it with Siri, but Siri don't know what she be talking about. She be drunk around this time of night when I try to ask her to do stuff. I'm going to set my alarm, man, and we going to bed. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Stay tuned if y'all read my little fucking shit up there. We got some shit going on, you know, very, very soon. All the links to my social media right on the description box of TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.